So my journey really began through the strays in my neighborhood. The strays in my neighborhood taught me a lot. I used to have so many dogs when I was a kid. It got to a point where I ended up catching parvo in my parents' yard. It wasn't my yard. It used to be my yard, but ended up catching parvo. So what that led me to is a lot of heartache. So what I learned is that for some reason the strays never died from parvo. The strays was in and out of the yard, but they was all over the place. So where I'm from is a place called Riceville, and I can honestly say that the dogs that I've had in my past actually helped populate some strays. Now, it's not overpopulated with strays. It's not no mass amount of just dogs in Riceville. So I didn't, I was a kid and I didn't know what spaying a dog was, or I didn't know how to keep my female in the yard to even, stop that. But I had a female dog named Girly, and she would always go off, run off, come back, and she'd be pregnant. But anyways, let's say after that, I was a little kid. My yard got parvo. I went and got, my parents had went and found me this lab. And then that's how we found out that it was parvo, because it was like, this not no coincidence. This ain't no accidents. This ain't no accident. Let's figure out what it is. And that's the first time that I really learned what parvo was. So fast forward, it takes a while for parvo to get out of your yard. But I couldn't have dogs at my parents' house, and in the mix I would keep dogs at my grandmother's house, but I wasn't like there 24/7. I lived with my parents. So what happened is that I started following strays around the neighborhood and feeding strays, being just around them. The strays kind of like accepted me to a degree and knew that I wasn't like going anywhere. So I was able to watch their everyday activities and the things that I've learned as a kid. Now, of course, I did not know what was going on then. I just have this interest in dogs. And then as I get older and the more I started searching for meaning and wanting to be a better dog trainer and cultivating my mind around dog stuff, all of the things that I've learned when I was a kid stood out to me, because I know these stories very vividly, and I can call on them to answer questions here in my present like it ain't nothing. So I can call on those stories very vividly, and I can call on those answers to answer my questions like that I have in my present like it ain't nothing. So what had happened is that this was the first time that I had learned that, like this is what tied into like my survival and comfort theory. It was like this trailer behind my parents' house, like a ways back. And I had saw that this brown dog, she was pregnant, and then she had disappeared for a while. So what I did is I kind of just like looked for her, and then I remember I was going to my grandmother's house, and I remember I saw the dog like up the street or whatever the case may be, and it looked like she had puppies. So then, I couldn't take advantage of the moment right then and there, of course, because, I wasn't driving, and it was my parents' goal to take me to my grandmother's house. So I saw that the dog was up the street a little bit, and I saw that she was walking back towards where I usually see her at, all right? So then as some time went by, what I did and as a kid, I walked up the street to see if she was in the area again, and lo and behold, she was coming out from behind the liquor store. And I just basically followed her back home, and she had puppies up under the trailer, right? She had puppies up on the trailer. Well, at this time, I remember looking back there, and I remember seeing that they was at least walking. So I'm like, wow, I'm going to be able to play with some puppies, right? So then it was like a couple weeks later, they was like They was doing more than walking. They was able to run, but I think they was about 4 weeks at this time. 4 or 5 weeks old, had to been. And I remember me walking up to the puppy or the puppies, and like they saw me, and then all of a sudden they just like freaked out. Some of them ran back up under the trailer. Some of them was so scared that they turned and faced me, and then like rolled over and just sitting there with their teeth showing, like if you come close, I'm gonna bite you. Then I got to thinking, like, how in the hell this 5-week-old puppy, like, why would this 5-week-old puppy think that I'm trying to kill it? Like, what? How is it that damn mature? Right? So I'm thinking, like, is there a possibility that I could kill it? Yes, there's a possibility. But I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I know me, but the dog don't know me. And that's where Comfort came into the situation. And this is how Survival and Comfort, from a stray standpoint, was able to produce that thought in my head and that theory, and how I got from, you know what I'm saying, like Survival and Comfort and writing a book and everything, because I really understood, like, or I really, you know what I'm saying, like really thought about like what really made that puppy, like why is it that that puppy is scared of me, and how is that puppy able to make that decision, and what made, you know what I'm saying, like where did that stem from? And it was the simple fact that that puppy was successful every day, you know, at living his, you know, them puppies. The mother come home, feed them, and it's nothing else around but just mom and other puppies and just life. And every time mama done seen a person or a car or something, she run back and she hide. So these puppies' instincts, this puppy ability to feel comfort or discomfort, told that puppy that I may be there to dictate its survival in the worst way. That discomfort had told that puppy that I was probably there to take its survival away in some form or fashion. Therefore, it behaved like that because that puppy knew for a fact that that wasn't a normal circumstance situation for them. This is the reason why I'm able to apply my knowledge in my clients' cases, because I let people know, like, the lack of, if the dog don't have exposure, if the dog is done, you know what I'm saying, if you do overly expose anything. I remember making a video where I said too much of something is always bad. Like, them puppies had too much of not seeing people interactions. Even at 4 to 5 weeks of age, think about this. A lot of people ask me, when should I train my dog? ASAP. Like, I speak with a lot of passion. Don't get me wrong, because I am very passionate. But from what I know and I understand, a little bitty puppy is no different than an adult dog. The only thing when it comes to being able to learn, to obtain information, if them suckers can run pretty decently fast and they can eat solid foods and whatever, they have the ability to be successful on their own. Think about it, like, the mother is gone when you get an 8-week-old puppy because it's with you, but the dog is learning as a little bitty baby how to survive and how to stay comfortable by doing so with being with you. So they have the ability to learn on all levels. And that's why I tell people, like, get training ASAP. Do not wait, man. Like don't get me wrong. I offer so many different things to educate people. Books, online courses, board and train, all types of things. And it's kind of like, you know, like, don't get me wrong, like, this is what I do for a living. This is what I've been able to, you know what I'm saying, like, feed my family and stuff. And that's cool. But it's also because it's something that I was sent here to do. You feel me? So education is very, very, very important. Knowing what to do is very important. I get way too many people that says, hey, my dog is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 months old, a year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, and I'm looking for training. And it's like, That's only because the old way of thinking is that you get a dog, it's going to be a good dog. And if it's a good dog or bad dog, that's what's going to determine on the training. But in all honesty, you're supposed to get training no matter what the circumstance is. You're supposed to seek guidance no matter what the circumstance is. You need to get your feet wet no matter what the circumstance is. So let's go back to the story. Is that puppy taught me a lot. And it's not the only scenario or situation that I learned from and what helped me out with my career. But the puppy just basically showed me, like, you know, like, even though it's a puppy, that don't mean it's supposed to be cute and cuddly. That puppy is worried about two things. Is comfort, discomfort, and surviving, eat or be eaten. And I know for a fact that I done had other strays, or I done had female dogs that done been raised in my care, and I've been seeing them puppies since it was born, and those puppies didn't act like that. So what was it? You know what I'm saying? It's survival and comfort. So that taught me a lot, to be honest with you. That taught me a whole bunch. Like I say, man, I just advise people to question certain things and don't always think that, you know what I'm saying, like I tell people, either you're gonna train a dog or the dog gonna train you. Either you train a dog regardless of whether you think you're doing it or not. That dog is basing his life off of experiences and the things that it's been exposed to live the life that you ultimately convince it to live. So at the end of the day, man, get some education, join a course. Even if you join just the, you know what I'm saying, like, everybody has some tidbits of information. You can learn from people what to do and what not to do. But that's my story about the stray dogs, stray puppies, and how it kind of put pieces together for me. And like I say, my experiences is way beyond that story. I got a million stories, but that's for another day. See you later.